Hello, everybody. I'm Rebecca Caro. I'm a business to business marketer. And like many of you, I do various podcasts and live streams quite regularly on social media. What's unusual is I don't often choose to talk on marketing topics. Now, one of the jobs that I do is I sit on the B2B special interest group for the Marketing Association, and we're always keeping our eyes to the horizon about things that are coming up that we know marketers should be knowledgeable about, should be aware of, and should be acting on. And today I'm delighted to welcome as my guest Sam Irvine, who works for Copyright Licensing New Zealand. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Rebecca. Nice to be virtually online with you.
Now, Sam is in the wonderful position of both being a B2B marketer and obviously now working for Copyright New Zealand. So marketing and AI, it is one of the key use cases that we've all heard about, Sam. What are people actually doing?
They're doing a lot of things with AI, some of it good, some of it not so good. But I think in general, how AI can be used, there's two ways to look at it. One is within your organization to manage processes and the things you do day to day in a better way. So organizational AI is a really big trend at the moment, and a lot of large organizations in New Zealand are doing a significant amount of work in that, particularly in professional services. And then I think secondly, there's in terms of the output. So as a marketer, how can I use some of these, fancy new AI tools like Midjourney to create campaigns and marketing material for my customers and for myself.
And people are definitely doing this. We know that already. However, as we are now aware with everything on the internet, there are goodies and baddies. It's like the movies. What are the things that you've seen actually happening out there in the marketplace?
Yeah, I think probably, and it helps that I come from a marketing and advertising background, so I can see absolutely the benefit of being able to scale up using AI. It enables you to do with, as long as you have a good level of skill in terms of the prompts you're using, to create campaigns with a single person that might have taken a number of people a long time. So there's significant benefits in it. What I would say, though, is that a number of people are using tools that have scraped data, text, and images off the internet without permission. So actually, the training sets that they've developed are, in many cases, illegal. And we're now seeing this being tested through the legal system in the United States and in the EU through regulatory changes that are being proposed to ensure that these training sets that these open AI engines are using are transparent around whose data they're using and that they've asked permission to use it. So people can opt in and opt out. They can get compensation either through licensing or a direct contract for the use of their images or text, so books. And then you're legally able to use the output. A classic recent case has been Books 3, which is used by Meta, which is 200,000 books that have been pirated off the internet. So that's you've got these big tech is kind of doing it, and I think that's what's becoming quite a focus, certainly within the US, around how do we ensure that we get the best outcomes in terms of innovation from the good actors, and we ensure that the bad actors aren't able to continue what they're doing and basically infringing copyright and IP with a lot of the work a lot of the data that they are using for themselves to try and make a business model for themselves. And I think that's the issue.
I think the days of, going fast and breaking things, of not seeking permission, but seeking forgiveness afterwards, are definitely over. And the legal system has caught up to a great degree with the sorts of things that previously in the Wild West were possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, it's not tested in New Zealand, and that's, we'll be a fast follower, but certainly there's a lot of people here taking notice of what's happening. There's a cross-party political group looking at AI at the moment. So a number of all the spokespeople from the major and minor parties have been involved, and I heard them speak recently about that. So there's a lot of people now becoming interested, and it's good to see. And I think I think if I was a marketer, I would be very careful about what tools I was using in terms of AI. So looking for ethical and responsible AI tools to use.
So let's talk now about closed AI systems and how that fits into your framework of ethical and responsible usage.
Yeah, so a good example is NVIDIA and Adobe. So they've basically licensed all the data and images they're using from Shutterstock and other libraries, so that when you're creating images using those tools and their AI system, you're actually, that's a legitimate use of the image, because the original creator has been asked for permission and gets compensation for that.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to look too far to find the tools that there will be no risk in using.
And a definition of a closed AI system is exactly that, where the images are all there with all of the box ticked ahead of time, and if appropriate, compensation is being paid, and access to input into that system is closed. It is controlled by the organization.
No, I would say I'd say those are open systems. My definition around a closed AI system is one where a corporate or an organization has developed their own internal AI, where it's trained on their own data. It uses an algorithm that they've purchased or developed externally or themselves. And there's a number of examples of that already happening in New Zealand, and certainly globally. It's very popular. There is absolutely no risk with that. Well, not absolutely no risk. A lot less risk. I mean, you can still be hacked and things be stolen, but in terms of the data you're using, you own it. The outputs are all yours as well. So, I think closed AI systems, particularly for those that are looking to lessen their risk, are the way to go. But for many SMEs, that's just not possible. These are large, expensive things to maintain and develop. So you're looking for ethical and responsible AI, like the examples I just gave around NVIDIA and Adobe.
Someone I know in the States put a claim into the small claims court, and he said, you fill in the form, you explain what the situation is and what you're claiming for. And his was a hotel that he had to buy because an airline connection didn't work. And
right.
He said it spat out, in not very much time at all, the most aggressive lawyer's letter he said he had ever seen. He said, and I'm a lawyer. I couldn't have written. It was a real bulldog thing. But again, a good use of how someone would be frightened by receiving that who didn't have their own lawyers. And, they might settle quite quickly, which is the purpose of a small claims court.
Yeah. No, the system in the United States is, the way their system works is litigious. They tend to move in that realm rather than regulation, whereas the European nations in the EU tend to have a less litigious view, but have a lot of work go into regulation to support good actors. So those two systems are developing in parallel at the moment, but are both moving towards similar outcomes, which is, if your AI system has a training set with a whole lot of data in it, and they all do, have you asked permission, and are you being transparent in the outputs around what inputs you have used? Yeah.
Now, as a marketer, as a lead marketer, you should be conscious of what your teams are and are not doing. So let's go into a little bit more detail about risks using an open AI tool. So I can see an easy one, which is that if you choose to input a whole load of data into one of these tools in order to get it to write a social media post for you, you are adding to its training set. You are putting in possibly confidential information that is going into the public domain. That's an obvious risk.
That's right. So I think there's three. That's certainly one. I would not be putting in any data, any client data or your own data into any open AI system. So something like ChatGPT, I'd be running a mile from doing anything like that. Secondly, the output you're getting when you're prompting the AI to create an image or a campaign for you, you need to be aware that you might be at risk of infringing copyright and that someone will sue you. So be careful.
And that's That's because of the training data issue.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
that's been taken without permission and illegally used in the training set. And that's what's happening in the US. There's a number of cases going on of artists, particularly visual artists, and also writers now and also Sony Music, also now getting into it as well around music. So all the main forms of creative expression are moving in this direction to ensure that the bad actors are being stopped from using data without permission and compensation and acknowledgement.
And the third one?
And then the third one is you might actually get something that's wrong. So you ask it to do something and it comes back, the AI comes back with an output that's just plainly wrong. And there's been examples of this within the legal profession, but I think it's also the same for marketing. You need to just be really careful around fact checking, and also just if you're using images, making sure that it's not anything too weird. But yeah, it's only as good as what's going in, and as things start to tighten up around data sets, the information is becoming older and less relevant, and I think that's a risk as well, is that it's using old information.
Go and read the terms and conditions of ChatGPT from OpenAI. You're going to use it so that you know what you're getting yourself in for, because you are contributing to the data set if you're using it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is how big tech's made money off all of us and our content. They're saying, give us all your photos, give us all your images and text, and we'll create a social environment for you. Well, yeah, that then enables them to sell advertising and make lots of money.
Now, Sam, if people want to find out more, how can they connect with you?
2 ways. One is copyright.co.nz. We've got a bunch of material there, a knowledge base. We actually run courses at the moment. So we have a trainer, and you can do those online or in person. So if you just, you can find those there. So there's one on copyright, and we're just starting a new round of education around contracts and agreements. And obviously there's a piece around AI and that. And if you want to ask something confidentially, just send us an email at getintouch at copyright.co.nz, or send me an email at sam@copyright.co.nz.
Fantastic. Sam, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for opening a window which I know I'm going to have to look out of more and learn more about, because this is a very fast moving area, and marketers, it's incumbent on all of us to protect ourselves, to protect our clients, and to protect the brands that we work for.
Yeah, and look, I think as marketers, let's embrace AI, but be really careful around which one and how we're using it, because there's good ones and bad ones. And there's a lot to be gained by using AI in the right way.
Sam Irvine, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rebecca.